Hello again, everyone. So today we are going to talk about linear inequalities of one variable, and in this lesson we are going to talk about some basic inequalities, how to solve them, how to show their solution in a proper way, and basically moving towards the solving linear inequalities to two variables later on. Okay, so I put in two examples here. First one is x greater than 3. We're going to do a review of grade 8 and 9. This is a number line that we have right here. So this is your number line right here that you have. So we're going to show on this number line what is the representation of x that is greater than 3 and is strictly greater than 3. So let's go ahead. Let's see. This is we're going to randomly choose that value to be 0 for the number line. The right side is a positive value. The left side that arrow goes is a negative value. So when we say x greater than 3, so let's suppose that this is 1, 2, and 3. So we're talking about this is 3 right here. So we want all values of x that are greater than 3. And the way you show it is that first, because it is strictly greater than 3, we cannot include 3. That means it's going to be a hollow circle, and then we have to show with the arrow on top all the values that are greater than 3. Now in some textbooks they shade that area like that, but if you just put an arrow in like that, that should be okay. Alright, let's look at the next one. Now in the next one, let me add, instead of being less than, I'm going to put an equal sign right there. So less than or equal to. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Let me make it better right there. So we're going to do the 0 again. And in this case, negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 is on the negative side. Remember, that's a negative, that's a positive. We want values that are less than equal to that. Well, if that is less than equal to that, so we're going to circle minus 4, but this time minus 4, negative 4 is included, so that has to be a bolded circle. That means it's included, and then we're going to go towards all the values that matches the y less than equal to negative 4, and we're going to go towards the left. That means minus 5, negative 6, anything in between, anything that is less than negative 4 is part of the solution. And you show it with the arrow like that, or you don't have to put the arrow and just put a line through it, and that would be it. Now in the first example in here, so we can do 4, 5, 6, okay, or 20. Doesn't matter. All of these values are greater than 3. For the other example, this one, any values, minus 5, minus 10, minus 30, they're all less than negative 4. Okay, now that we have done this to review, we're going to move on to the next level questions and solving linear inequalities with one variable. And you kind of know what that is. I put an example right here for you. X plus 3 is 6 less than equal to minus 3. But before that, I need you to make sure you are looking at this important note, right? The solution for this inequality, it's always is a range of numbers. And what I mean by that is an interval solution, maybe. And you could, look, it's because it's an inequality, you may not get only one answer. You may get many values of x that work for that specific inequality, and the way we show it is through interval notation, or we call it interval solution. So let's go ahead and solve. And the first thing that you have to do is that you treat that equation, that inequality, this one right here, you treat that just like an equation. All right, so we're going to isolate the variable, and we're going to isolate x, so we have to subtract 6 from both sides. Okay, and let's go through that, and you already know that, so let's go ahead and do that. When you simplify, so you get x less than equal to negative 9, because negative 3 minus 6 is negative 9. And in this case now, we're going to put it on a number line. So we're going to draw a number line. So I'm going to use the other side right here. So I'm going to draw a number line like that. So let's suppose that this is 0 because it's -9, so I'm going to shift the 0 to the side more. I don't need the positive value of the number line. So let's suppose this is -9. Okay, and because it says, this is the important part right here, there is that equal sign that is part of the inequality. That means you must shade -9, that's part of the solution, and we want all values that are less than -9. Then the arrow goes to the left because, remember, left is negative values, right is the positive values. And that's it. And can you give a couple of examples of that? Sure. Let's look at an example of, in this case, will be -10, -20, -40. Okay, all of these are less than -9. Therefore, that is how you show your answer. Okay, so let's look at another example. And in this case, this example that I have is a little bit more involved. Involves a few steps. So you have to go through and expand. You have to multiply through. If it's outside of the bracket, the number is, and then you have to collect like terms, and you just treat it just like an equation. So let's go ahead and do that, and then pause the video and then come back and check. So the very first thing you have to do, you have to multiply the 3 into the bracket, and when you just did that right here, you just rewrite that. Here it is, and then you simplify, and in here what we have done, we've subtracted 3x from both sides of the equation, and we also, what we have done, we subtracted 6 from both sides of the equation. We did two things at once. Okay, you get 11, so you should be able to do that. If you can't, then you do the next step. That's okay, you break it down one step further. Your final inequality will look like this, and once you have that, this is the part that you have to be careful. Now, in terms of equation, if this was just an equation, you divide both sides by -5, which in this case you do the same. You both sides divide by -5, the coefficient of x, because you want the x to be isolated. But here's the trick. The rule is, when you divide an inequality expression by a negative number, you have to change the sign direction. The direction of the sign of the inequality has to change. So in this case, you will have x, and instead of being less than, it will be greater than equals to. Okay, so this is very crucial part that you have to pay attention to. And the other side is -15 divided by -5 is +3. So that's the final answer. Put it on a number line, and that should be very straightforward. Let's call that 0. This is 3. We want all values that are greater than or equal to, so that is the shaded at 3, and all the way to the positive values of 3. And that's how you show the solution. And this is the work towards to get the final answer. Very good. That's it.